Hi guys, Petricus here. Today I'm going to show you 3 ships. I have built 3 ships. I spent countless hours on customizing them, and they fit different purposes. One is a smaller one, and this is what you see right here. It's more of a utilitarian, kind of a frigate type ship. A little bit faster, more agile, and it is smaller. It does get the job done, and it will include all the workbenches and utilities that you need, and so do my other ships, my other 2 ships. The other 2 ships will also be increasingly bigger, having more roleplay elements to them, but they will still be functionally pretty much the same. And it's mostly for role-playing purposes. They will have more cargo, shielded cargo, and I'll show you my builds. So first up, let's show you the little more zippy guy. So ignore the color scheme because I'm not very good at making color scheme on these ships yet. I just pick pretty generic colors. So first off, let's look down here at the stats. So this is a C-class ship, 40 reactor power, with 50 equipped power. If you have the trait, that will increase your reactor power to 45 at max. The way I see it is that if your equipment power is not more than your maximum amount of power available by too much, then you should be able to power all your weapons. If you lower down your grav drive power, since considering the fact that you're going into a battle situation, then you're just committed into it, then you're not going to be grav jumping out, and you can power up all your weapons. So that is something to consider when you're equipping all your weapons. And I'll also show you guys the other equipments that we have. So some of these are from story quests. I'm not going to do too much spoilers. So the cum spike and the conduction grid, this is from a quest line, and you know, if you don't know about them, then you haven't reached them yet, so I'm not going to spoil that for you. But you can look at the stats here. So this scan jammer is just something that you can get from I guess like a shipbuilder that is like more off the books, so you're gonna have to find that yourself, but it is something that's available. And to utilize this scan jammer, you will have to have shielded cargo, and when you have shielded cargo, the scan jammer would then block when you go to, like, say UC space, and you get scammed by the UC Navy or contraband, and you have to have cargo hold that are shielded. You see right here, this cargo hold, it says shielded cargo hold, and this one doesn't. Neither does this one. Okay, moving on to, say, weapons. I'm level 61, I think, and I have all the best weapons available as far as I'm concerned. So I'm loaded out into the wazoo with the PBO 175 auto helium beam. This is a particle beam weapon. This is the particle beam weapon, but it's an auto turret. So you don't actually shoot this yourself, it just shoots whatever enemy it comes into its range and comes into its I guess aiming angle. So it does turn. It's on a swivel. And these are missiles. These are really good missiles. I like them. You can pick whatever you want. Right? And this is the shield. This is one of the two shields with really high max health. This one and the other one, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll show you later in the other bigger ship. They have the best amount of power bar to number of shield generated. So they're the go-to shields. And for my layout of the ship, this is I think the pretty good layout. So what I got is this NG6 landing bay. This landing bay has a entry point that's on top over here, so it's a ladder entry point, and then that gives you the benefit of creating a layout like this, where you only have 2 levels. So the landing bay enters this companionway, and this companionway is connected to all the habs, including the cockpit. So it gives you 2 levels of access: cockpit and the workshop and the infirmary are on the same deck. The all-in-one living space right here is on the second deck, and connected to it is the docker. So pretty simple. You only have basically one actual ladder that you have to go up to access all of the functions of this ship. And as you can see, with this layout, I'm able to hide my reactor and grav drive. So my reactor is hidden. It's a C class reactor, so it's pretty big. The only exposed part is on the bottom right here. And my grav drive is a A rank. I don't really need the A rank because this ship is pretty small, pretty lightweight. As you can see, the mass is under 1,000. So I'm able to get 26 light year jump, and that's enough. Especially considering the fact that once you have visited a system, you don't really need the grab jump range anymore. And to keep everything pretty lightweight, I didn't go for the best and greatest. I just get what is necessary. There are higher tiers of cargo holds and higher tiers of the fuel tank, but I just went without because I don't really need them. And the grav drive here, I have hidden it with cargo holds so that you don't get damaged. If you really need to run out of a combat situation, that's still something that can be doable. Let's see. Oh, the important part with this one is this thing, the landing gear. Okay, you only have 2 landing gears, but this NG20 landing gear is one of the best, I think. I mean, you know, if you want to minimize your amount of things that have attached to your ship, these are the go-to, because for each landing gear you get 4 lander thrust and 4 hull. on an efficiency level, you pretty much have the same efficiency if you used this one, the AccuLander 11 landing gear. So, as you can see, the mass is equivalent of one of these to two of these, and the lander thrust is basically the same. So to minimize the amount of things that you have attached to your ship, I use these. Now how you get this is actually you have to go to NG20 landing gear, and then you select wide. So there are different options and they provide different visuals, but they are actually have the same stats. Okay, pretty good ship. Lots of parts attachments. See this Nova cowling gives you 3 attachment spaces. It's pretty good for only 3 mass. This is 2 attachment spaces and gives you 1 mass. And another good thing about this landing bay right here is it also has equipment attachments right here, so you can put weapons down there. Pretty awesome. And for the engines, I have opted for the White Dwarf 3015. And the reason why is because this is the only one that give you the top speed of 180. Okay. I think the other AREG engine can only give you to 150, but this one specifically has a top speed rating of 180. And I'll show you the interior. The interior of this ship is, I picked Strock Eklund just because I really like the visual, the fancy, smashy visuals of it. It's really nice. Here's the cockpit with the captain's locker and the armillary and the cargo hold right there. Once you're in, immediately from the landing bay, you have living space. You can move this docker closer if you want to, but I prefer it a little bit away from the ladder. And then you have the infirmary. So infirmary gives you a research lab and a pharmaceutical lab. So that gives you plenty of crafting stations, along with the spacesuit, weapon workbench, and industrial workbench. So the workshop right here gives you plenty of space and utility. Very simple layout. Okay, once you're up, you basically only have 4 places to go: left, right, front, and up. I'll show you guys the performance in flight later after I show you the other ships. Alright, and moving on to the next ship. It is this one, this bad boy right here. So the previous one I say was more of a frigate. This one is more of a cruiser. That's how I view it. And as you can see, slick design, streamlined, and pretty different. Let's go through the parts. Show you the exterior in-game visuals later. So for this ship, I went with the idea having a bit more role-playing elements to it, and that's by including the battle stations. And the layout of this ship is actually pretty interesting. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but I'll go through the equipments first. So first thing first, let's do weapons, right? So weapons, pretty much the same. I have this equipment mount that gives me 2 on each mount. Right here. Another 2 equipment mounts right here. And the reason why is because I don't really have a space for the Nova cowling like the previous ship. So what I opted for is that if you are having the comp spike and the scan jammer and the other gear, you can put it on this equipment plate right here. 1, 2, and then you put another one right there, 3. So you have the missiles, and you have the auto turrets, and then the particle beams that you fire yourself manually. So pretty much the same loadout of weapons. The power use is a little bit higher, but still within reason. It's not too bad. And as you can see down here, I have used the White Dwarf 3015 again for top seat 180, but the mobility is down from 100 to 86. Jump range is still 29 light years, better, slightly better than the 26 light years, but that's because I use a different grav drive. Okay, let's go through some of these habs and cargo holds. So I've used these 2 cargo holds right here to cover up my reactor. And on the sides we have the habs. So again, it's exposed down here, unfortunately. But it's still doable. You know, you rarely, at least I rarely get attacked from the bottom. I usually just barrel roll to keep my enemies above me or in front of me. And I have the auto turrets to shoot enemies from behind or on the top. And I have my helium tank and a shield particle right here to cover the back end, including this Nova cross passage right there, cover up any exposed part of my reactor other than the bottom. Here's the grav drive underneath this structure part, kind of hidden away, and the shield is right there, covered by the weapons. You can also use a side-mounted shield underneath here. I think that would be a really good choice. If you prefer a different shield, you can hide it here so that the shield, let's say your shield gets damaged, the actual physical part of the shield doesn't get actually damaged and have your shield disabled as easily, I mean, because it is kind of exposed on the side here. Alright, and again, I have this NG20 landing gear. Again, this is my go-to. The reason why is because how much it performs. And I have this landing bay right here. This landing bay allows me for a side access, and from the side access I go straight into the armory right here. Okay, with the armory, then it's attached to other pieces of habs, attached to other pieces of habs to create the similar idea of having 2 decks, and one with a functional deck, and then the other more of a living space role-playing kind of situation, right? So the battle station itself doesn't really give me any kind of functional usage in the game. Neither does, like, say the captain quarters or the all-in-one living space right here. But all the utility are in the first deck right here. So I got a workshop attached to the armory. You know, it's kind of a display role-playing storage. but has a function, right? Because it can display your weaponry. It has lots of storage. It has visual display of your equipment that you can say, oh, I need to have a different loadout on this mission or on this XP run or whatever. And then of course the infirmary. The docker, unfortunately, you can't put it on top. And the reason why is because I have these things that are protruding out of the top. So if you put the docker on top, it will tell you, say, oh, you can't because it's not on the exterior ends of the ship. So I put it on the bottom, and in reality, it's actually not a bad choice, because this landing area is connected to this bridge, this cockpit. So you go in, you can access the docker and the bridge. So let's say you dock with a space station or an enemy ship. You get off from your seat. You can go down directly into the area that has the docker. Or let's say you landed on a planet and you want to get up and go to your armory to pick up the weapons you want to take with you. Go down and go straight in to the armory, pick up whatever, and then exit out of here on the side. And it's pretty far forward, so that means it can you can get to wherever you need going pretty fast. The landing bay on the back is pretty inconvenient. And lastly, this design with this cap at Seaford Bridge allows you access to 2 decks from the same bridge. We'll show you inside interior view. But basically there are 2 entrances, one up top and then one on the bottom inside this bridge. And this is the connecting factor of these 2 decks. So you go in here and go where I'm going here. You see the little arrows? That's where the entrances are. I'll show you why I put this Nova cross bridge here when we go inside. Let's move these out of the way so you can see. So there you have it. It is pretty simple layout, and you can see that there are a few tricks that I used to connect these pieces so that there wouldn't be any ladders in there, because you would think that this workshop will have a ladder to the captain's quarters, but it doesn't. This is the trick. The Nova cross bridge. I use that to connect to this all-in-one berth right here, and that creates a second exit of the captain's quarter. So then it only allows for access from the battle stations right here into this cross bridge, this cross passage into the other living space here. And we'll do it inside view, but before, let's do it outside view. Looks kind of funky. Looks kind of like a turtle, don't you think? Maybe I should paint it green and brown. Definitely has a turtle silhouette. So here's the landing bay access. Go in, and we have.
Hey, you might want this.
Here is the Nova Armory, and you want to pick the Nova Armory because this is the armory that has the mannequin. I don't think any other one has them. So you can put the spacesuits and whatever helmets in it to display. But once you come in, you want to go to the bridge. You go straight to the left, and here's the bridge. So you have two entrances, and here is the battle station. Mostly a roleplay kind of situation, and you would think that on a cruiser you will have at least like a crew area. Yeah, it was C-3PO playing chess, space chess with Chewbacca. This kind of reminds me of that area, right? Ooh, Cora, you came out of nowhere. All right, so here is the captain's quarters. You come in here, you have pretty good privacy for role-playing purposes, and then bam, more living space.
Hey, now the party can get started.
And then we'll go down. So there's no ladder, as you can see, but here's a loop. I like that. It's kind of cool. You think that there would be a lot more loops in spaceships if it's like, you know, big enough. All right, so we'll go down, and here is the utility deck, and the utility deck has the docker, infirmary, and workshop here. So lots of utility. I think this layout is pretty good. It definitely has a more realistic, immersive vibe to it.
Your ship smells so much better than Dad's. Like a lot.
Basically, if I didn't have this cross passage right here, there would be another exit ladder right here, which is kind of a silly place for a captain's quarters to have a entrance exit, right? So the negative about this ship is the mobility. It doesn't quite have the same mobility as my smaller frigate, and it's made up for it, I think, by having a little bit more cargo hold and more of a immersive cruiser type design. And no ladder, right? No ladder. That's always the thing. People try to avoid ladders because it's a pain in the butt to navigate in the game. Alright, let's check out my last ship. And my last ship is this one. Unfortunately, this one's bugged out a little bit. Every time I take the ship to space, you'll see Vasco just standing on top. And this name, I can't actually change it, unfortunately. I tried it multiple times, so this ship's bugged out, but you know, it still functions, so I just left it. And this bad boy is more of a battle cruiser type situation. I think I really like this design, so it's pretty cool. I think I might build it back again if I go through the Unity to start New Game Plus. But for now, let's go through the specs. As you can see, it's a little heavier. Top speed of 140 because it's got B rank engines. Still got 100 points in mobility. 29 light year jump. Pretty good. Lots of cargo. And good amount of weapons. without overloading on power. and the weapon loadout is pretty much the same. And if you decide to have the equipments, like the comm spikes and whatnot, the scan jammer, they can be mounted here on both sides. You have space to mount them. So this ship has a little bit more frivolous design with a lot more wasted parts. Like say down here, this mostly wasted spaces, but it's still pretty good. Not too heavy. Okay, have Docker on the top, and unfortunately this design has a 3-deck design, and it's a little bit unavoidable just because of the way that the layouts build out. We'll go through a little bit of the other equipments here. So I picked this engine because it's one of the better B rank engine. I was trying not to use C rank engines because of their slower top speed of 130, and I was able to cut down some of the weight on this thing, so I was able to make it, you know, to the point where I can get 100 points in mobility and still use B rank engines. All right, and oh, see, I got equipment mounted on one of these things up here. That's like a scan jammer. And let's see, let's get access to seeing my reactor. So move the cockpit and move to battle station. There we are. So I have shield hidden down here. This is the shield that I was talking about. Side mounted shield. It cannot be top mounted. This thing is slightly better specs than the Vanguard. It is also a bit heavier, but it also has a little bit more shield regeneration rate, so it's a little better shield overall, just heavier. And as you can see, I've been using the cross passage here and here to finagle around the habs. I'll show you the interior in a little bit. Here's the helium tank, a shielded cargo. You can see that you can fit them right next to each other. Very tight spacing, but it definitely helps to cover up stuff. Let's say you want to put these right behind your reactor. That's a totally doable option, right? So definitely remember this shielded cargo. There's an unshielded version of this cargo, I think. And this helium tank, let's see, can't shoot them, right? So this is my grav drive. It's a B rank. Also still able to get 29 jump, 29 light year jump. It's pretty good. And this is the same reactor that I've been using for my other ships. And here are some cargo hole and a cross bridge to cover up. I really like the idea of sandwiching my pieces of my important ship parts. Definitely one of the most important part of it. So this cockpit actually has equipment mounts down here, but the way I have it laid out to simulate more of a bridge, you know, in a, let's say like a, what is this? I guess it's like a Battlecruiser or like a battleship. Probably not a battleship, not quite big enough. So it's probably a Battlecruiser, like the in between cruiser and a battleship. All right. So a couple of these cowlings. And shield the cargo hold down here below to cover up my grav drive. Again, not able to cover up the bottom of the reactor, but still pretty good, I think. You know, shields the reactor from physically being accessible by the enemy guns. I think I should hide this somewhere else a little bit better, but I couldn't find a good space for it. Unfortunately, this cargo hold doesn't have any side mounts, so I can't attach it to it. Alright. And here's the landing bay. Again, with this landing bay, I have chosen to have it in front of my other stuff. Kind of a double layer that I can, you know, let's say if you need to have a C rank grav drive, you can have it bigger, and then this will cover it at front. All right. So shall we go check out the interior and see how it looks? Oh, check out the exterior real quick, huh? Pretty good look. That's a futuristic, you know, what you see in a sci-fi battleship, battlecruiser type situation, right? So side entrance right here. Again, go straight into the armory. As you can see, armory. And I've chosen to have the Nova armory again. I think with the docker, you can probably put it down here, but with this ship design, it was a little too far away, so it's not a good idea, I think. So one level, this is the not as divided. So I got the mixture of living space and utility space. And as you can see, I have the cross passage here. Go to the other living space. And here's the infirmary. And the infirmary is also connected to the workshop. And then one last level up, third level. Battle stations. Cockpit. And here's the captain's quarter. And that's it. It has more of a privacy than the other ones. So definitely a role-playing deck, other than the cockpit, of course. And the way I see it is that this cockpit is a little further away from the actual landing bay access, but you would just be able to go sit down and, you know, do the fast travel exit instead of, like, you know, walking it out yourself. So, and then if you need to go to the cockpit, just do the fast travel access, right? Go straight to the cockpit. And, you know, let's say you are in the cockpit and you want to go do some crafting. It's still pretty short distance right here, directly to infirmary over there and the workstation here. So it's not bad. It's still pretty fast access. The only main problem is, you know, for the role-playing purpose of having, you know, the shape and design of the ship, then your landing bay is a bit further away. But still pretty good. Still got all the utility stuff that you need. So shall we go check out how they perform in ship combat? We'll go to, let's say, Serpentis. Yeah, boy. A little bit over 800 top speed with boosts, and 214. That's because I don't have all the powers. All right, here you go. 232, 233. That's max speed without boost. Ooh. A little bit under 930 for top speed with boost. And mobility wise, let's check. Thrusters for drifting, yes. Pretty fast. Definitely one of the more nimble ships designs. Alright, next up, let's try out my cruiser ship and see how it performs in battle. Uh-oh. Damn. Got him. Alright. So obviously it didn't do as well as my small ship. It still did good enough, and I did also get a tougher enemy this time around. So it's I would say it's not entirely the ship's fault. So shall we check out some of the maneuverability? All right. So regular top speed 233, about the same. You know, it's the same engine. All right. Shall we test out the boost? And we will boost now. Yeah, about the same. Over 900. Definitely a good speed. Let's try out the maneuverability. Now with thruster, it still does pretty well. I mean, it's still got 80 something points of maneuverability. So it's not a bad design. Still able to drift. Pretty quickly. Alright. Shall we go check out my last ship? Alright. Was that it? That's not enough enemies. But it's definitely doable for showing you the performance. Alright, let's knock down one right here. Oh, as you guys can see, my Vasco is it's hitching it right on the top. Like I said, this ship is bugged out, but it still flies, so it's good. Alright, top speed 181. Much lower, but still, you know, not bad. Alright, shall we try boost? Ooh, way slower. Didn't even break 700. Alright, let's try out the maneuverability. Alright, pretty good. Again, the maneuverability and all that, top speed and all that stuff, it's all dependent on your ship class and your engine and reactor class that you chose. So it's going to be tricky to really compare, but this is still pretty nimble, as you can see. It's still able to drift. I think as long as you're not too heavy on your ship, not too much frivolous stuff, still doable. Oh yeah, look at that drift. Alright, buddy. Just gonna hang out on top of my ship, Vasco. I haven't modded any of the pieces. What I have done is actually just use the console command to give myself ridiculous amount of money, because I needed to try out different builds, and that costs a lot of money to like try out. And then I downloaded a mod to give my outpost shipbuilder access to every ship part, just so that I don't have to run around different places to try to find all the parts, because they're company exclusive. So that's the only thing. I didn't even use any glitch to build. I didn't use any building mods to give myself more flexibility. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.